Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 26th verse of the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Avatara hi asankheya hare sattva nidher dvijaha yatha vidasina kulyaha tarasasyu sahasrashaha. The meaning of this verse is, O Brahmanas, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources of water. So this verse, coming immediately after listing the 22 incarnations, Srila Sutta Goswami, who is addressing the sages of Naimisharanya, they are the best of the Brahmanas. So he is addressing them, O Brahmanas, Dvijaha, Brahmanas, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable. One cannot count how many incarnations are there. So he has just mentioned some of the prominent incarnations. 22 of them is mentioned. That's all. So it is not a complete list. What is being given so far is not a complete list. Because such incarnations of the Supreme Lord keep coming continuously, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources of water. You can imagine if inexhaustible source of water is there, just like we have perennial rivers like Ganga, continuously water will be flowing in this Ganga. Continuously. There is no stoppage, there is no break. Because the source from which this water is coming is inexhaustible source. Similarly, the source of all the incarnations is Sri Krishna. That will be made clear in the 28th verse. So Krishna is the unlimited source of the incarnations. And continuously incarnations are coming in this world. Continuously. Without stoppage. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the list of incarnations of the personality of Godhead given herein is not complete. 22 incarnations is not the complete list. It is only a partial view of all the incarnations. Now, Srila Prabhupada gives examples of so many other incarnations who are not mentioned. He says, there are many others, such as Sri Hayagriva, Hari, Hamsa, Prishnigarbha, Vibhu, Satyasena, Vaikuntha, Sarvabhauma, Vishwaksena, Dharmasetu, Sudhama, Yogeshwara, Brihadbhanu, and others of the bygone ages. In the past yugas, so many incarnations have come and gone. Some of them are, some of the other incarnations are mentioned by Prabhupada here. Sri Prahlad Maharaj said in his prayer to Lord Narasimha, My Lord, you manifest as many incarnations as there are species of life, namely the aquatics, the vegetables, the reptiles, the birds, the beasts, the men, the demigods, etc., just for the maintenance of the faithful and the annihilation of the unfaithful. So the Lord keeps incarnating again and again and again and again in all species of life. You advent yourself in this way in accordance with the necessity of the different yugas. As required, the Supreme Lord just incarnates. He appears. In the Kali Yuga, you have incarnated garbed as a devotee. So in Kali Yuga, the Supreme Lord's incarnation has appeared as a devotee. Who's that incarnation? That is told by Prabhupada here. This incarnation of the Lord in Kali Yuga is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in the form of a devotee, Bhaktavatara. There are many other places, both in the Bhagavatam and in other scriptures, in which the incarnation of the Lord as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explicitly mentioned. Bhagavatam in the 11th canto it is said, Krishna Varnam Visha Akrishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnai Sankirtana Prayir Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. So this is the mention of the incarnation of the Supreme Lord as devotee in Kali Yuga, 11th canto it is mentioned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many other places, okay, I've already explained this. In the Brahma Samhita also, it is said indirectly, although there are many incarnations of the Lord, such as Rama, Nisimha, Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, and many others, the Lord himself sometimes incarnates in person. Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishthan Nanavataram Akarot Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo. Krishna Swayam Samabhavat. Krishna personally comes, original personality of Godhead personally comes himself, incarnates in person. Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo. He is the Param Puma, the supreme person. Lord Krishna and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not, therefore, incarnations, but the original source of all other incarnations. All the incarnations have got a source, that is Krishna. This will clearly be explained in the next shloka. So the Lord is the inexhaustible source for innumerable incarnations which are not always mentioned. Not always mentioned in the scriptures. Not always mentioned. But such incarnations are distinguished by specific ordinary feats which are impossible to be performed by any living being. This is very important. If some incarnation is not mentioned in the scripture, then how do we recognize? That is being explained by Srila Prabhupada here, that an incarnation is always distinguished by specific extraordinary activity. And such activities are impossible to be performed by any living being. I'll give you an example. Krishna lifted Govardhan hill. Now, is it that nobody else can lift Govardhan hill? No, that is not true. A yogi who has got the power, mystic power, he is perfected by practice of Ashtanga Yoga, he can lift Govardhan hill. It's possible for a yogi to lift Govardhan hill. Then, what is the speciality of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill, which is unique, which cannot be imitated or cannot be duplicated or replicated by any other personality? What is the special thing? So if you carefully study this Govardhan Leela in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, Srila Shukadev Goswami says, the circumstances under which Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill is very, very, very special circumstances. What are the special circumstances that Krishna had to lift? Indra became angry against Krishna because Krishna stopped Indra Yajna. That is the background for this Govardhan Leela. And when Indra decided to punish the inhabitants of Vrindavan for stopping the sacrifice that was traditionally offered by the Brajavasis to Indra, Krishna told the Brajavasis there is no need to worship Indra. So the Brajavasis, they followed Krishna's instruction and they didn't worship Indra through Indra Yajna. Instead, they worshipped Govardhan. Because Govardhan is not different from Krishna. So, Shastras say only Krishna is worshipable. And there is no need to worship any Devata, any demigod, any powerful being. There's no need to worship. That's what the scriptures say. So, Krishna therefore stopped Indra Yajna. Indra became angry. He decided to teach a lesson to the Brajavasis and he ordered the Samvartaka cloud to pour down rain in Vrindavan area. Samvartaka clouds are summoned by, are used by Indra to flood the middle and lower planetary system at the end of Brahma's day. Now that Samvartaka cloud, which is not supposed to be used at any other time, just because Indra became angry, he ordered Samvartaka cloud to pour down rain like that, devastating rainfall. Now, against this devastating rainfall, Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill and held it up like an umbrella, protecting the Brajavasis. So, a yogi can lift Govardhan hill, but he cannot lift Govardhan hill when there is torrential rains of the kind that brings about devastation. When Samvartaka clouds pour down rain at the time of devastation, that usually happens, then yogi cannot protect all the inhabitants of this earth planet and say, I will hold up Govardhan hill. All of you come underneath the Govardhan hill and you'll be safe. No, that's not possible. Neither can the yogi hold up the Govardhan hill against Samvartaka rain. No, he cannot. So this is the specific pastime of Krishna. He held up the Govardhan hill as an umbrella against Samvartaka devastating rainfall. So kindly note this. This is not possible by anybody else. Against devastating rainfall, nobody can protect others. Nobody can hold up a hill like an umbrella. Not possible. Second point. Krishna held up the Govardhan hill. 7 days continuously he was holding it. And during those 7 days, the Brajavasis, Krishna assured, underneath this hill, when you are being protected, you will not experience hunger, thirst, fatigue, etc. Because they have left everything and come for protecting themselves. So where will they be able to cook? Where will they be able to do some cutting of vegetables? All that, where will be possible? So Krishna said, don't worry, you will not be troubled by hunger, thirst, fatigue, etc. Now, no yogi can give assurance to people that I'll protect you against hunger, thirst, fatigue for the next 7 days. Don't worry. No yogi can do that. So, therefore, these 2 points, if you carefully note, you will realize nobody can do this type of activity which Krishna performed. Extraordinary activity. Specific, extraordinary activity. Distinguishes the Supreme Lord from everyone else, including big devatas, big yogis, big jnanis, big tapasvis. Everybody is subordinate and limited in their ability to perform certain activities. Always limited. Krishna is unlimited. So here, Srila Prabhupada further says, the incarnations mentioned here are, some of them are directly and indirectly empowered. Shakyavesha avatar. For instance, the Kumaras are empowered with transcendental knowledge. Narada is empowered with devotional service. Prithu Maharaj is empowered with executive function, the power to rule. Matsya incarnation is a plenary portion, directly a plenary portion. Plenary portion means the incarnation of the Lord who has got full power of the Lord. That is Matsya avatar. Like this, there are innumerable incarnations manifested all over the universes constantly without any cessation, without any break, as water flows constantly from waterfall.